Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to D and Z TV, the place where we give you up to date information of everything happening in the royal family and also the entertainment industry at large. Justice denied is actually justice refused, as finally there seems to be some fresh air as Osinachi has gotten justice for the husband who actually bite her in cold blood due to domestic violence. Yes, it has taken about 2 years now. This incident happened sometime in 2022. But guess what? This is 2025 and justice was served as Mr. Nwachuku was sentenced to die by hanging. This actually gives some form of relief and joy to the justice system that, as a matter of fact, people can still get justice for whatever that is happening or is being done. Yes, they can still get justice. But in as much as they can still get justice, have you also sat down to imagine or think the number of women who still find themselves in these issues of domestic violence? The issue of domestic violence is such that it cannot be compromised for anything, because that very thing you think you are trying to protect, or you think that you're trying to, maybe you don't want the church to hear about it, or maybe what's your pastor going to say about it, or maybe what your parents are going to say about it. My dear, if you put through domestic violence, let me tell you the truth, even heaven, you can't even make it. Yes, it's going to be very even difficult for you to even make heaven. Imagine a world class singer like Osinachi. How many of you remembered Ekweme, Ekweme? If you're listening to that song, when it gets to that part when she comes on board, it becomes something else automatically. So right now, a lot of people are beginning to put their voices that women listen or listen. If it's not working, when a man begins to get physical, once a man begins to get, so once you allow yourself to be used as an object of masculinity, then I tell you something, you are bound for doom. And the truth about the matter is, there are always red flags from the beginning of a toxic relationship. There is nobody who will tell me that she did not notice that this man could be a man beater tomorrow. Woman beating does not just start overnight. No, it's not possible. Ask every woman who actually was a product of domestic violence. It always starts somehow, either by the man getting a little bit violent, or by the man getting pissed with little unnecessary things, or him just feeling insecure. So those red flags are always there. So I think the best thing for every woman is, once you notice any element of domestic violence in a spouse, my dear, run for your life. Yes, run for your life. Now, domestic violence is actually a two-way thing. Even men also suffer domestic violence, but the ratio is actually very negligible. Yeah, people don't really look at it as something significant to talk about. The percentage of women who suffer domestic violence is way higher than that which ladies are suffering today. And the painful part right now is, if it has gotten to that level where women's lives are no more important. I mean, you cannot call someone your husband and he now begins to descend on you up to the level of even wanting to sniff out life from you. And yet, you still want to be in that same place because you feel people are going to say, my dear, the world always have a way of moving on. No, the world will move on and leave you. So if you like, allow yourself to be used as an object of ridicule. Once you buy the highest that they will talk about your case is 1 week, pata 2 weeks. You see that church you're trying to protect, you see that pastor you're trying to hide it from, you see the whole world you're trying to hide it from, they will still know. So by the time they now know, now what are you going to do? Now you guess the annoying part, you will not be there again to start defending yourself. Now, how many people are going to get justice like the way Osinachi got justice? It's going to be pretty difficult. So the best thing for everybody to do is to realize once you begin to see any trace or element of domestic violence, my dear, you don't even need to stay and pray for the guy. There's no need. You want to pray for someone who is who has already made up his mind due to maybe he came from a very wrong family, he came from a very wrong background. And this thing people always say, don't mind him. When he marries, he will change. He's always harsh. A man who begins to be harsh on the sister at home, he starts beating the younger sister, starts talking to people anyhow, already has traces of becoming a narcissist tomorrow. So you cannot see all those elements now and you begin to allow her to stay with the intention that don't worry, when she marries, she will change. He will even get worse. He will even get worse. So nobody should even think about it. So parents, in as much as you're putting so much effort training your female children because they are your pride, also try to also put an eye on the male ones. Yes, you also need to put an eye on the male one, because if this Osinachi's husband was properly trained, I'm not sure he would want to behave to this woman the way he did. And there's another mistake a lot of people are making, that somebody is going to church does not mean in any way that the person even knows God. Some people just go to church just to fulfill all righteousness. So it is a very disheartening thing that this man can be following the wife to church every day, and yet he has the mind to be maltreating her. Not even adding to the fact that she adds and supports to the family. So let us not even use that one as a yardstick. Even if he doesn't support the family, the fact that you've called her your wife, it is your prerogative to make sure she is protected. It's your prerogative to make sure she fulfills purpose and destiny, and not for her to live anyhow. Because the truth about the matter is, once you begin to allow such toxic nature and toxic behaviors to creep into marriage, then the marriage is actually heading to a point of no return. All right, people. Now, finally, the man is sentenced to die by hanging, and I hope men out there will learn a leave from this kind of illicit happenings. Thank you, and see you.